Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet here on the call as we settle in for a very special night here on the Milford turf. It is senior night for this Milford High School varsity girls soccer team, and tonight the girls host one of their rivals from the Kelly Rex division in the Taunton Tigers. Milford comes into the matchup currently in 5th place in the Kelly Rex division standings with an overall record of 3-11-2. Taunton, meanwhile, in 6th place in those Kelly Rex standings, still in search of their first victory of the year. With not much time left on the schedule, Taunton comes into the matchup 0-12-3 overall on the season. We've already had a lot of fun here at the field before this match has gotten underway, as we did have the senior celebration prior to the start time of this match, so Milford had an opportunity to honor all of their seniors, and a little bit more business here as the game officially gets underway. Milford with a couple of players that have been unfortunately unable to take the field due to injury, getting an opportunity here to log some time right at the outset of this game. In particular, Brianna Guerrero, who just recently underwent successful ACL surgery, and also Amy Oliveira, who has been out with injury as well, getting an opportunity to be recognized here at the start of the game with a bit of a ceremonial kickoff here. So very happy that those girls had an opportunity to be acknowledged here for all of their efforts as part of this team for the last several years. Both of those players with great careers here with this Milford girls varsity soccer team. So once again, congratulations to both Brianna Guerrero and Amy Oliveira. Unfortunately cannot be out there for the full game tonight, but a great gesture to have them out on the field to get this one started. And so we'll get play resumed here momentarily, as now Taunton will toss the ball in. This is the second meeting between these two teams. They battled to a very high-scoring 4-4 draw earlier on in the season. So we'll see ultimately how things play out tonight. As, of course, you can see out there, not the best of conditions for this game under the lights tonight. A heavy fog hovering just above the playing surface. Cool temperatures, a little bit over 50 degrees. There's been on and off rain, at times heavy in the area throughout the day today. We do believe we shouldn't see any more than just a light mist through this game here this evening. That is certainly what we're hoping for, but no doubt slick conditions out there on the turf after a pretty rainy day all totaled here today. But Milford excited to play their final home game of this regular season here this evening, as that ball makes its way back to the Milford goal, and it is once again Kaylee Turtelot in goal for this one here tonight. And you can see her trying to dry off that ball before she sent it back out into play. That will certainly be a challenge for both of these teams. Ball security with slick conditions out on the playing surface. Milford looking to attack from right to left across your screens here in first half action, as this ball now makes its way in deep. Milford is going to send this shot in over the reach of the keeper and in for a score. And just like that, Milford gets on the board first. They're going to take the first lead in this game. And so I believe that was number 24, Kaylee Whitney, with that goal to put Milford on the board. That would be her first of the season. So Milford very quickly jumping on top here. Just about 3 minutes into this game. And not the easiest conditions here to even see from up here in the press box, as again that fog is continuing to come down lower and lower towards the playing surface. Taunton now controlling on their attacking side of the field. The ball ends up at the feet of number 13, Emily Calderon, and it's going to eventually drift its way past the Milford goal on the far side of the field and out of play. So Milford came into this matchup with a total of 24 goals scored on the season. They get on the board here early to take a 1-0 lead, thanks to the goal by Kaylee Whitney, one of the seniors out there. Coach Lou Colabello deploying all of his seniors at the outset of this match. Milford now back to defend deep into the corner. Nice to see Talia Seri out there and active. The last time we had a chance to cover this Milford girls soccer team, it was in a barn burner against Stoughton right at the beginning of the month of October, a game that Milford led at one point by 3 goals, but a late surge for the Black Knights in the second half allowed them to earn a come-from-behind 4-3 victory. Talia Seri, who was charged with defending one of the top scorers for Stoughton, ended up shaken up on that night, but back healthy and a part of this defensive effort here tonight. Milford feeding back to Brooke Ferreira, who angles it now towards the far side. And again, trying to get a look at uniform numbers that deep onto the field will be a challenge for us throughout the night. So certainly bear with us as we try to get all the personnel accounted for as this night goes along. That ball is going to deflect out of play, and it looks like we'll have a corner kick opportunity for Milford coming in from that far corner. Brooke Ferreira will line up for the kick. Milford already with a goal in the early stages of this half to take a 1-0 lead on Taunton. And through the mist, Ferreira will loop this ball in. That hops over the cage and out of play. Keeper for the Taunton Tigers is senior Haley Porter. The Tigers under the direction of head coach Dan Borges. Obviously a tough transition year for the Tigers, and as we talk about transition, Coach Colabello bringing some new players in here after this opening stretch. Milford defending hard there, trying to keep this ball in on the attacking side. Atherton able to regain possession, sends a shot in from deep that is handled this time by Porter. Milford regroups at midfield, tries to dump back in, but Taunton there to answer. And this ball will take a roll free upfield. Evelise Pierce giving chase. Taunton trying to pounce on that opportunity, but also footing, no doubt, will be a challenge as this game goes along as well. Footing, unfortunately, has been a bit of a challenge here on the Milford turf for the bulk of this fall season, especially for the boys and girls soccer teams. And add a layer of moisture into the mix, and not the easiest of playing conditions, but still these players in high spirits as they get ready for this one this evening. A lot of enthusiasm for the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors as they decorated the field in the damp conditions for their senior night celebration. And always a nice moment as the seniors were able to come out onto the field before the start of this game, accompanied by a lot of their family members for a chance to recognize their efforts as well. Another ball rolling free, this time up the near sideline, eventually guided out of play. Still in the opening 10 minutes. Free kick here for the Scarlet Hawks back on their defensive side of the field. Intercepted right at the midfield line by the Tigers, but now Brooke Ferreira's there in support. A hard deflection caught up high on Serena Borges. And Borges now taking over with a good feed upfield. Atherton stays on sides, has a step on a defender, but loses the footing. And that is going to allow Porter to pick up the ball. and end that opportunity for the Hawks. Atherton looked to be in prime position to send a good shot away. Oh, and I beg your pardon, we will have a penalty kick here coming up. So contact there resulting in Atherton losing the footing. It's tough to tell at first glance, but a penalty shot to be taken by Serena Borges. And she's able to slice it past the keeper on the near side. And so PK successful for Serena Borges to double the Milford lead to 2-0. That is the 4th goal of the season for Serena Borges. Milford lining up for a goal kick now. Still 30 minutes on the game clock here in the first half. So this is a similar start to what we saw in that last game we covered for the Milford girls against Stoughton. Milford was able to grab a goal inside of the opening 60 seconds of that match. They piled 3 on early prior to the half to take full command, but they couldn't extend the lead from there. And Stoughton just kept chipping away, grabbed a goal just before the half. Kept cutting it closer, ultimately tied the game with less than 5 minutes to go, scored the go-ahead goal in the closing seconds, and ended up stealing that game here at the Milford turf by a final score of 4-3. So Milford hoping that that history does not repeat itself tonight. They've built up an early 2-goal lead. Milford notched their first home victory of the season back on October 18th. That is their last win overall on the year. That came against North Attleboro. They followed that up with a very tough 7-0 loss to the King Philip Warriors in their most recent game, which took place back on October the 20th. This ball taking a roll the length of the field, and time for Haley Porter to pick it up. This is a Taunton offense that has struggled to put up goals this season. They have just 9 goals through their 15 matches so far on the year. However, of those 9 goals, 4 of them came in their last matchup with Milford earlier on the season, that 4-4 draw. So they were able to get on the scoreboard with regularity the last time these two teams faced off head-to-head, so that has to be in the memory bank here for Milford, looking for a better defensive effort here, trying to get the clear. Can't get the full clear as that deflection caught Amelia McQuiggan high to keep that ball right at the edge of the box for the Tigers. And now it's Borges trying to get the clear. This ball will loop in and will be off target towards the near side of the Milford goal, and we'll have a goal kick to clear out there. The defense struggling to get that ball out of harm's way, leading to a possible chance for the Tigers. Now up the near sideline, Atherton. That ball goes out of play. They'll say that possession will go to the Tigers. Now another chance forming here for the Tigers. Couldn't quite get all on that shot. That was Kaylee Lopez. Will we see another penalty kick awarded here? A lot transpiring here in the early stages of this match. So not a penalty kick, but we will have a free kick here just outside of the goal mouth as Milford will line up a wall in front of the net. And this ball comes in low and it sneaks past. And so Taunton picks up the goal on the free kick chance to quickly cut the Milford lead in half. It's now 2-1. So it was Julia Matos, a junior for Taunton, grabbing their first goal of the game. So it could be that kind of night once again with a lot of offense. Milford getting the toss in here with still plenty of time left in this first half. Still 26 minutes and change as this ball comes in deep. A little flick shot that glances off the goalie, and the Taunton defense there to clear it out. Ava Baglione trying to jam that one in. Sent the shot in sort of off the side of her foot. Deflected off the hands of Haley Porter, but hung outside the goal line long enough for the Taunton defense to come in and deflect it away. Excellent play defensively. That looks like Ava Alves in there for the Tigers. Interesting taking a look at the years of graduation for this Taunton roster. With 4 players on this roster listed with years of graduation that would currently put them in 8th grade. So the Tigers digging down into the middle school ranks to fill this varsity roster this season. Obviously getting some tough growing pains at the varsity level at a young age, but the bright side is those players will have experience and will be part of this program for the foreseeable future. So an opportunity for this year to be a really foundational sort of year for this Tigers program. This ball will take a roll back towards midfield. Milford trying to dump it back in, looking for Atherton. And the whistle's going to come against Atherton here, transferring possession over to the Tigers with right around 24.5 minutes to go. I want to officially welcome in all of our viewers joining us for this live streaming coverage tonight. Once again, bringing you the live coverage via our YouTube page. A lot of live coverage coming at you on Milford TV tonight, with many people no doubt getting ready to tune into our live coverage of Milford's town meeting coming up in just a brief while. That coverage will be live on our Milford TV public channel. Toss in here for the Tigers. It comes in out of the hands of Kaylee Mello. There's Borges. Lets that ball take a roll back to midfield. There's Atherton to pick it up. Self-pass around a couple of defenders. Good speed for Atherton here, trying to keep the feet. Centers the pass up, and that one glances off the post. Couldn't quite get the angle to give Ava Baglione an opportunity to send that one in. More substitutions coming in here for Coach Colabello's team as we get deeper into this first half. Now a 2-1 score. Up ahead for Juliana Matos, the goal scorer for the Taunton Tigers. Now Atherton getting a hold of this one. Sari trying to send it back into her offense, but Taunton on the move now. Pushed forward by Ava Uhl. And now into the direction of Kaylee Whitney, one of the goal scorers for the Scarlet Hawks in this first half action. Milford trying to slice that ball up the far sideline, but it trickles out of play. A lot of the families that were part of the senior night festivities sticking around, braving the soggy conditions in the Milford bleachers. And a lot of rain earlier today. It has slowed to just a light mist during game time, but not the nicest of conditions out there. But everyone having a good time. Milford providing some early offense to keep the fans entertained. 21 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this first half as that ball is out of Baglione's reach on the far side of the field. Taunton coming up for the Tigers. Teams fighting for it along that far sideline. Taunton tracking it to the corner. That will eventually take a roll out of play. And we'll see a goal kick for Taunton. Milford will have just one game remaining on their schedule. After this one here tonight, it will be on the road coming up on Thursday against the Franklin Panthers. And meanwhile, the boys soccer team will be celebrating their senior night against Franklin here at the Milford Turf on Thursday. That will be our next live coverage here on Milford TV. So we close out our regular season fall sports coverage this week with girls soccer and boys soccer senior nights before we look ahead to what might be in store coming up for the MIAA playoffs. We certainly expect that the football team will be hosting playoff games. See if we have an opportunity to cover any of the other fall sports teams in action in the postseason as well. All of that will be determined in the days and weeks ahead as Milford now has to press back onto the defensive side of the field. That ball knocked out of play. Taunton coming up here for the Tigers. Milford with the header sending that ball right back out of play. Now driven in, deflected back out past the edge of the box for the Scarlet Hawks. Can't get the full clear. That ball trickles now towards the near sideline and eventually out of play. Free kick now to be taken by Taunton's number 18, Amelia McQuiggan. Now this shot wide to the near side. Turtelot tracking it down. More substitutions coming in now as Milford's Olivia Baglione comes out onto the field. Swap of Bagliones, as it turns out. Olivia onto the field. Ava gets a rest on the sidelines with 18 minutes and 20 seconds to go in first half action. Milford leading Taunton by a score of 2-1. Moved out of play this time by the Tigers. Taunton coming up for Alexa Landry out of Atherton's reach. The ball taking a hop up into the crowd. Slow progress up the near sideline here for Milford, trying to toss this one up for Atherton. Kaylee Mello doing everything she can to keep that one out of Atherton's reach. Taunton gets the clear back to midfield. Kaylee Lopes having to track it back onto the Milford offensive side of the field. She'll have a chance again here. Able to get a pass ahead to Matos. This ball dumped in and scooped by Turtelot, who again tries to drive that ball off before she sends it back out. This will take us under 17 minutes to go in this first half. Chance for Milford to play this one on. Here is Atherton, the goalie coming far out of position. Atherton can't quite regroup, and another good defensive effort. That was again Kaylee Mello out on an island there, trying to keep Danny Atherton at bay, and ends up drawing the whistle against Atherton. This ball again up the near sideline, out of play, taken back over by the Hawks, and again Milford gets this ball right at the feet of Atherton, but those slick conditions again, denying Atherton the ability to settle that down. Atherton again double teamed, not much space as Milford continues to try to get this ball back in. Atherton now trying to direct that toss to try to give Milford some space, and again, ball further down the field. Taunton forces it out. Brooke Ferreira down in the corner. Instead, a whistle once again coming against the Scarlet Hawks. Give the Tigers a chance to clear this ball out as we are about to dip under 15 minutes. Brooke Ferreira trying to keep this ball in. Another clear here for Taunton. Ferreira at midfield going against Sydney Martin, one of the 8th graders on this varsity squad for Taunton. Taunton continuing to cycle new personnel at every whistle. Milford will bring Talia Seri back out onto the field, replacing Evelise Pierce. And we're set to continue. Looks like we'll get one more substitution here for Milford as Caitlin Landry will return to the field, replacing Alexa Landry. Again, down the far sideline. Milford with bodies charging in towards the net. But Taunton able to break up that pass. That ball trickling out of play. Milford wanted the goal kick call, but, or I beg your pardon, the corner kick call, but instead it'll be a Tigers goal kick. Officials conferring here momentarily before this ball is released by the keeper, Haley Porter. Sends it the short way over towards the junior Kaylee Mello. She'll send it along the near sideline now, knocked down by Landry. Olivia Baglione. Serena Pierce also in the area. Across the middle of the field now for Maya Santos. Milford sending this ball in towards net, but that's going to sneak around behind the goal. And right on cue, another brief pause in the action, another substitution for Coach Borges, as we are now under 12.5 minutes in this first half. 2 early goals for Milford to take a 2-0 lead. Juliana Matos grabbing one of those back for the Tigers. Danny Atherton again challenging down into that corner. Atherton, like all of these seniors, playing in her final game here on her home field. Atherton and Borges. Santos all coming together across the middle of the field, trying to keep this ball in deep. But Taunton is able to escape, pushing this across the 50, but then out of play. So again, only 1 win at home so far for the Scarlet Hawks, coming just last week against the Rocketeers. Their other 2 wins on the season both came on the road. One against non-conference Hopedale and the other against North Attleboro on the road earlier this season, as Taunton has a chance quickly form in front of the net. Milford has not quite cleared it out of danger yet. Taunton now trying to regroup, and this ball is going to get knocked over towards the far sideline, out of play. And it looks like they'll say that went out off of Taunton. I beg your pardon, it will be a Tigers toss in along the far sideline. Again, the sight line's not easy, in particular on this side of the field. This ball will take a roll in. And angled now towards the near corner, out of play. So we will have a corner kick here for the Tigers that will come with just under 10 minutes on the first half clock. And just out of the reach of Ava Alves, trying to redirect that ball in. Off the corner kick taken by McQuiggan. And Milford now trying to send this ball ahead. It stays on sides for Atherton. Room for Danny up the far side of the field, cutting now in towards net, drifting that one past the reach of the keeper, but it does not cross the goal line. Spins across the mouth of the goal and off and out of play. Atherton able to keep that play on sides, able to keep the footing, but just couldn't get the angle to send that one in, and it stays a 2-1 score. And so, looks like perhaps Porter might have gotten the fingertips on that ball as it went by, as Milford will get the corner kick here. Not much wind out there as this ball comes out towards the edge of the box. And Taunton able to push it back. Ferreira there. Now Serena Borges trying to set her feet, but Taunton able to block it away. This ball takes a couple of big bounces out of play right into the Taunton bench. Substitutions onto the field for both sides. Erin Mickelson out onto the field for the Scarlet Hawks. Looks like she will replace Kaylee Whitney. Whitney with the first goal of this half to stake Milford to their first lead. And now a whistle Once again going against the Scarlet Hawks will allow Taunton to clear this ball out with now less than 8 minutes until we reach halftime. Fed along the near sideline. That takes a tricky bounce on Mickelson. She's able to keep the ball in play. Good body positioning for the Taunton defense, allowing that ball to take a roll out. Last touched by Milford. Ball taking a hop off of Ferreira over towards Mickelson, and now rolling back deeper onto the attacking side for Milford. Atherton wanting to see that ball quickly tossed back in. Ava Baglione back onto the field. Atherton, can she keep this ball in? She does. Keeps it just inside that corner. Now locked up with a defender. That ball takes a hop off the flag and out of play. Milford will have the corner kick. Atherton will take it herself. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Milford looking to reestablish a 2-goal lead. Hard contact. As players came together. And ultimate call is against the Scarlet Hawks. The whistles have been going with regularity against Milford in this half. Ferreira will have a chance to get to this ball first. Action dominated in the Milford attacking side of the field in this half. This ball taking a roll back to Turtelot, who fires it back across the midfield line. Taunton now regrouping. That ball just out of the reach of Leah Obuizik. And now blasted and up over the bar. That dropped down for an excellent opportunity for the Tigers to tie this game up. And fortunately for Milford, that ball was sent up high. Under 5 minutes to play in the half. All of a sudden, Taunton with a bit of a surge. Despite Milford dominating possession in this half, it's just a 1-goal lead. There's Atherton again using that blazing speed, fires this shot in, and a nice save made by Haley Porter. Stayed tight to that post. Danny Atherton wants to get on the score sheet here on senior night. She's had a couple of chances in this half so far, has not been able to find the back of the net yet. She comes in as one of the top scorers in the Hockomock League. It's tied for second in goals scored coming into this week in Hockomock League play, with should say tied for second in points with 18. She has 11 goals on the season to go along with 7 assists. She trails King Phillips' Ella Pisani and Canton's Emily McCabe in points this season. Porter traveling outside of the box to clear that ball out as we quickly approach the final 3 minutes of this first half. Self pass for Paige Calden. Now sends this in towards the box, out of Atherton's reach. Porter there to make the stop. You can see there, Caitlin Landry just could not get a good grip on the ball on the toss and kind of looped in as it slid out of her hands. Atherton pressuring again. Borges streaks in. This ball will take a hop back to the midfield. Dumped in out of the reach of Baglione. Atherton has it. Turns it upfield. Tries to fire it in, but that's blocked away by the defense. Player going down hard for the Tigers. This will stop play as we will go into an injury timeout. So just around 2 minutes remaining in this half. Milford with a 2-1 lead. We will pause for the injury timeout. Back with more in a moment here on Milford TV.
Frank.
Set to resume action now out of the injury timeout. It was Emily Calderon, one of the seniors for Taunton, that suffered an apparent ankle injury in that last play. Was helped off the field. Looked like she was able to put some weight on that ankle. And again, with just tough, slippery conditions throughout this game. Just hate to see injuries like that come up as a result. Meanwhile, quickly a free kick chance materializing to be taken by Amelia McQuiggan. Another opportunity for Taunton to tie this game, but again, Taunton sends it up over the net and out of play. We're at less than 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Milford with a 2-1 lead over the Taunton Tigers. Borges now trying to win this ball. Brooke Ferreira also stepping up. Milford now lets it fly up the far sideline. Tough deflection handled by Aaron Mickelson. It's back to Borges now, who pushes it down towards the corner. Atherton is there, but so is the keeper for Taunton. Atherton able to win it back with Haley Porter caught out in no man's land, but Atherton's shot goes off the side of the cage. And everyone gathering now as if that is the end of the half. Didn't hear a definitive whistle from up here in the press box. But it appears that will do it for the first half. So a quick conclusion here to first half play. A lot of scoring early in the half, with Milford getting goals from Kaylee Whitney and then also a successful penalty shot from Serena Borges. Juliana Mato scoring the Taunton goal. And so it is Milford who will carry a 2-1 lead into the break. So we will pause here for halftime, and if you are joining us on our live streaming coverage for tonight's game, just hang tight for about the next 10 minutes, and then we'll get second half action started. It is senior night here for the Milford varsity girls soccer team. They lead the Taunton Tigers by a score of 2-1 here on Milford TV. Welcome back into the Milford turf as we start second half coverage in this varsity girls soccer matchup between your Milford Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Taunton Tigers. Milford honoring their seniors here tonight in their final home game of this 2022 fall sports season. Milford has the 2-1 lead. If you're just joining the coverage, Kaylee Whitney and Serena Borges responsible for the Milford goals. And right here to get things started in the second half, Milford creates a quick opportunity that is tapped in by Milford's Paige Calden. And so just 31 seconds into this second half, Milford able to sneak that ball up the far sideline, and a perfect centering pass for Calden, who was on the doorstep. And so not a 2-1 lead. Instead, Milford will take a 3-1 lead. Fresh into the second half action. So for the second time tonight, Milford's lead is 2. Tim Coed here with you on the call on this girls soccer senior night. Patrick Garapi once again manning the cameras. We continue into the second half with a heavy layer of fog just above the playing surface. And now Brooke Ferreira in a full sprint. Not going to get there in time. That ball picked up by Haley Porter. She's had a lot of action in front of her goal in this game so far, has been able to make a couple of nice saves. Milford with now a 3-1 lead. Scarlet Hawks, as you can see, attacking from left to right across your screens here in the second half. Corner kick opportunity coming in from the far side of the field here. Looks to be Brooke Ferreira. Through the mist, about to send this ball in on goal. Directed down. Now a chance for Borges. She sends it in, but it is saved by Porter. Borges looking for her second goal of the night. Serena scoring on a penalty shot in the first half. Milford dumping this ball back ahead to the most recent Scarlet Hawks goal scorer. Calden with a nice ball in towards net, but right into the hands of Porter for the save. We have yet to see a Danny Atherton goal in this game, Milford's goals leader on the season. One of the seniors honored before this game. Milford's defense trying to hold positioning here with Taunton trying to make a move here on the attacking side. This ball drifting in dangerous territory. The keeper out of position. The defense trying to clog up the works, and now Milford is able to get this ball out towards the near sideline, and now out of play. Milford in a scramble there. Able to keep that ball out of the net. Now the Hawks able to get the full clear. Baglione trying to take charge here. Gets positioning on the defense. Free now for a shot. Sends it low, and it is blocked by the keeper. Baglione a little slow to get to her feet, but now gets back into the action. More disappointed than anything that she wasn't able to get the kind of quality shot away that she would have hoped for. Milford's two speedsters, Danny Atherton and Ava Baglione, have gotten themselves loose in the open field a couple of times tonight, but right now neither one has a goal to show for it. It's still a 3-1 Hawks lead with 35 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second half. Atherton trying to get past Ava Uhl on that far sideline. The ball ends up trickling out of play. Atherton working on the shoelace, then gets right back into the play, sends a hard deflection off of a Taunton defender. Now back out for Brooke Ferreira. And unselfish as always, Ferreira passes up the shot, sends the ball away towards Atherton. He sends it well wide of the net. Goal kick now sent awkwardly towards the near sideline out of Taunton's reach, and Milford will have a chance to toss it in on the attacking side into Baglione. We'll have a Milford corner kick here as that was angled out of play off of Taunton. And so it's Brooke Ferreira now from the near corner. This ball deflected out. Milford trying to stay with it. Taunton getting a partial clear. Now back out towards the middle of the field. Back onto the foot of Serena Borges. And now played on. Milford looking for Paige Calden up the near sideline, but blocked on the way in. And now out of the reach of Caitlin Kernan. More substitutions for head coach Dan Borges for Taunton before the Tigers send it back in right from the midfield line. 33 minutes and 3 seconds on the second half clock. Milford now with a 3-1 advantage on the Tigers. Getting the first goal of the second half just 29 seconds in. Here is Ava Baglione sending it in. And then the redirect is through for Danny Atherton. So Baglione denied, but a big bounce on the rebound right to Atherton, who fires it past the keeper. And so there is a goal on senior night for Danny Atherton. And it is now a 4-1 Milford lead. That deflection tailor-made for an Atherton shot, and Atherton, who had been denied a couple of times in the first half, would not be denied there. So that is the 12th goal of the season for Danny Atherton. The only two players in the Hockomock League who have scored more goals than Danny Atherton this season are King Philip's Heidi Lawrence, who has 13, and Canton's Emily McCabe, who has 15. Atherton draws even with Ella Pisani of King Philip, who is the overall points leader in the league coming into this week's action. Hard blast forward for the Hawks here. Atherton looking to strike again. Regroups. Now dishes off towards Baglione. She's going to loop this one over the net and out of play. Milford with a good push here. They've struck for 2 goals in the second half so far within the first 10 minutes of this second half, looking for more as they are keeping the offensive pressure on. Haley Porter really struggling with these goal kicks so far in the second half. Ball taking a hop out of play on the far side. Another Taunton player slow to get back to her feet. It looks like we will pause here for another injury timeout. The clock right now stopped at 30 minutes and 57 seconds here in the second half. So Milford trying to earn their 4th victory of the season here in their home finale this season. As we told you earlier in the broadcast, they will round out their regular season coming up on Thursday against Franklin. We will have just one game remaining on our coverage schedule for this fall sports regular season after tonight, and that will be back here on the soccer field on Thursday, as the Scarlet Hawks boys team will honor their seniors before matching up in a key late season battle with the Franklin Panthers. And it appears that Milford's run of division titles within the Hockomock League is going to come to an end this season. Milford with a couple of Davenport division titles and then a couple of Kelly Rex division titles after making the move, but some struggles late in the year for the boys. Certainly did not help matters for the Scarlet Hawks that they were without the services of Eduardo Santana for a couple of really big games against Oliver Ames and Attleboro a couple of weeks ago. And so Milford, who had moved all the way up to the top of the Kelly Rex standings for boys soccer, now see themselves in 3rd place position with just a couple of games left to go. They have fallen 5 points behind the Franklin Panthers for 1st place in the Kelly Rex. Franklin does have tough games coming up against Attleboro before matching up with Milford in that senior night game, but with just 2 games to go for both teams, opportunity not there to make up 5 points in the standings. So unfortunately, Milford's run atop the Hockomock League will come to an end, but Milford hoping to put forth a deep run in the upcoming MIAA playoffs. See how the team rounds out their regular season coming up on Thursday in our regular season coverage finale before we look ahead towards coverage of any home playoff games for the Scarlet Hawks in the weeks to come. But back to live action here. Just over 30 minutes remain in the second half. The Scarlet Hawks now leading the Taunton Tigers by a score of 4-1. So it's the second time this season that Milford has been able to score 4 on this Taunton team. Four goals is the most that Milford has scored in any game this season, so if they are able to tack another one on here before the end of the second half, they'll establish a new single game high. Danny Atherton taking this ball all the way up the near sideline, now trying to cut in towards the middle. Now centers up a pass. Had Aaron Mickelson right there on the doorstep. Couldn't settle that ball down cleanly, and Porter eventually falls on the loose ball. Pressed forward again here by the Hawks, but the Taunton defense able to clear back upfield. Tossin coming up for number 42, Madison Crowley, another one of the 8th graders. Again, 5 8th graders on this varsity roster for Taunton. A youth movement for a program looking to rebuild just 4 seniors on this varsity roster for Taunton, so they carry more 8th graders than they do seniors, so that will certainly allow for a lot of continuity on the roster next season. And hard contact in the middle of the field. That was Alexa Landry. I believe it was Amelia McQuiggan for Taunton. This ball ends up out of play along the far sideline. More than 27 minutes remain now in the second half action. A 3-goal lead for the Scarlet Hawks. A good deflection here, but Milford able to keep solid defensive positioning. This ball released back upfield now by Kaylee Turtelot. Right back on the offensive now for Taunton. As this ball rolls loose towards the far corner, out of play, and it'll be a corner kick coming up now for the Tigers. So Milford getting a little loose here over this last sequence. Redirected out of play off the foot of Christina DaCosta, a junior for the Tigers. And no, looks like instead that goes out of play off of Milford, so immediately another corner kick chance. Send it out high this time. Borges, the first to get to it. Now Paige Calden gets free of a defender. And finally now Milford able to jam this ball up past midfield. Erin Mickelson takes that deflection on a ball that now hops out of play along the far sideline. Milford with a couple of players waiting to check back into the field at the next whistle. Taunton controlling at midfield, but Brooke Ferreira wrestling the ball free. Nice pass over towards the near sideline for Atherton. Able to get past one defender, running out of field, trying to center that ball up right at the end, but out of real estate as that hops off the side of the net and out of play. Atherton now in search of a multi-score game. Kaylee Whitney, Serena Borges, Paige Calden, and Danny Atherton. 4 different scorers for Milford as they have built up this 4-1 lead. Tossed back in, only to take a hop out of play off of Erin Mickelson. And again sent out of play along the far sideline as the clock inches towards 23 minutes to play. Turtelot out towards the edge of the box to take care of business. And sends a short kick. That's going to be picked up by Leah Bujezbek. And now it's Talia Seri with the toss in on the near sideline. Push as the whistle goes against the Tigers. Fires this ball back ahead, takes a hop back towards midfield. Seri is there to settle it down. Eva Baglione waiting to check back into the field, able to do so now. She'll replace Mickelson. Atherton with a fast toss in, finds Baglione in the corner. Atherton getting it back. Now Brooke Ferreira trying to curve that one in towards the corner, and it hits off the post. Deflects back towards Atherton, stays on the playing surface. Atherton now fires it in, and it's held on to by Porter. It's an incredible shot for Brooke Ferreira, curving towards that near post. Nearly putting that one in. Now it's Atherton again, down deep in the corner. A little over 20 minutes remaining as that ball ends up out of play off of Milford. Whistle against the Tigers here is going to lead to an intriguing free kick chance for Milford. A chance to continue to add to what is right now a 3-goal lead as we reach the midway point in the second half. Brooke Ferreira sending this one out of the reach of the keeper and in. And so the senior Brooke Ferreira gets herself on the score sheet on this senior night as Milford will take a 5-1 lead. So we saw it just a few moments ago, nearly curving a shot in from long range, this time right on the money on the free kick chance, out of the reach of Porter, under the crossbar. A beautiful shot executed by Brooke Ferreira. So indeed, it is now a 5-1 Scarlet Hawks lead. So a new single game high in scoring this year for the Scarlet Hawks. That is the second goal of the season for Brooke Ferreira. So nice to see her get on the score sheet here tonight. Again, we use the term unselfish with Brooke so much in all sports that she plays. She is the epitome of what makes a good teammate. Does all the things out on the field that do not necessarily show up on the score sheet, but are so important to putting together a winning effort. And so a great chance for her to have a chance to pick up a goal here on senior night. We'll see a lot more of Brooke as this year goes along, as she will be part of the basketball team this winter, and Hearing some chatter prior to the game tonight that we might see Brooke on the softball field this spring. Meanwhile, Taunton awarded a corner kick here. 18:23 on the second half clock. Low line drive kick out of the reach of Turtelot. It drifts out of play off of Milford, so now we'll see another Taunton corner kick, this time from the far side of the field. Again, it can't be settled down by Turtelot, but there is Brooke Ferreira. She gets the partial clear. Taunton now sending it back inside the box. Serena Borges trying to clear it out. That ball is going to take a hop out of play, and this time we'll have a goal kick. Short kick immediately pounced on by the Tigers. They'll now have a toss in on the near sideline. Hop over to Juliana Matos. She has scored the lone Taunton goal on the night so far. And this ball rolling free in towards the keeper. A solid kick this time by Kaylee Turtelot right to midfield, but dumped back in by Taunton. Players flying to the turf from both teams as that ball rolled down into the far corner. The whistle against Taunton. About to reach 16 minutes left to play. 2 goals in the first half for Milford, 3 so far here in the second half. Their best offensive day of the season coming in their final game, playing out here on their home field. Milford right now struggling to get this ball out of their defensive end of the field. This ball's going to sneak past Kaylee Turtelot, but they will whistle the foul on Taunton on the contact on the keeper. The fans clamoring for a card to be issued, but it does not appear that that is imminent. Kaylee Turtelot getting some help with the shoelaces here before we get this goal kick. This will take us under 15 minutes left to play. Players for both teams awaiting the next whistle to check in, including Milford's Gabby Paniche. Milford continues to not be able to get this ball back onto their attacking side. Subs taking the field. Gabby Paniche out there getting a huge cheer from the crowd as she will replace Olivia Baglione. Up the far sideline, and Milford finally with a chance to break this ball out. Up ahead to Paniche, but she couldn't control. It goes out of play. And frustrated with the hands on her head after she couldn't control that ball. Had a lot of open space up ahead. Now it's Taunton back on the attack. This ball Slides out in front, allowing Turtelot to pick it up. The kick taking a hop onto the foot of Danny Atherton. Atherton stays on the ball. Waits to center this ball up. It takes the hop past the keeper. Now it's Brooke Ferreira with a little light touch, trying to sneak that one in. We'll have a corner kick. Atherton protecting that ball. She went past defenders, sent a good centering pass. So Brooke Ferreira again on corner kick duty. Good hop for the Tigers here, a chance to clear out. So nothing developing on that corner kick. The score stays Milford 5 and Taunton 1 with less than 12.5 minutes remaining. Milford now able to bring this ball back in for a shot that goes over the crossbar and out of play. Evelise Pierce and Kaylee Whitney checking back into the game as the seniors start to reemerge here for the later stages of the second half. And here is Atherton. She'll send this one in from long range. It gets under the hands of Porter, off the post and in. The second goal of the night for Danny Atherton. And it's a half a dozen on the scoreboard now for the Scarlet Hawks. They take a 6-1 lead. Taunton playing a little undermanned as Atherton brought that ball ahead as they had an injury back behind the play. Now being attended to by Milford trainer Ashley Desco. So we will take the injury timeout here on the broadcast. 11 minutes and 45 seconds remain in the second half. It is now Milford 6 and Taunton 1 here on Milford TV. Back to action. Danny Atherton just scoring her second goal of the game moments ago to propel Milford to a 6-1 lead. Atherton with 2 goals tonight to up her season total to 13. As players collide and the ball comes screaming back in after the whistle. And now it is a Milford player shaken up at the end of the play. It is Serena Borges. Helped back to her feet by her teammates. She'll stay out there. Big bounce, Milford able to get in there. Brooke Ferreira, but the whistle will come at Milford's expense. A quick turn upfield now for the Tigers. Taunton able to score a season-high 4 goals. The last time they met up with Milford on the season tonight, they've only been able to score 1. That 4-4 draw between Milford and Taunton, the only game this season that Taunton was able to score more than 2 goals in a game. They've only had 2 multi-goal games on the season. They actually came back-to-back in a 5-2 loss against the Stoughton Black Knights prior to that 4-4 draw against Milford. A lot of offensive struggles for this Taunton team. They've been shut out 10 times on the season. The goal that they scored earlier tonight actually broke up a 5-match scoreless streak. Prior to tonight, the last time Taunton was able to put one in the back of the net was all the way back on October 3rd in a 6-1 loss against Oliver Ames. Less than 10 minutes remaining now in the second half as Taunton sends this one in towards the corner, and a nice stop made by Kaylee Turtelot. Loops this kick just out of the reach of Brooke Ferreira. Talia Seri pushing it across the midfield line. Another chance for Ferreira to settle it down. A lot of jostling there, along with Leah Abuyazbek. Now Kaylee Whitney with an opportunity presenting itself for her to net her second goal of the game. Now being pressured along the near sideline. Free kick to be taken by Ferreira. She scored on a free kick earlier in this half. Instead, sending that one towards the far post. Atherton trying to redirect it in, but sent it just wide. Taunton now up with it across the center line. This is going to take a roll. Kat Mestre eventually tracks it down and pokes it out of play. Another senior back out on the field here in this game's late stages, Kat Mestre. Little over 7 minutes remain. The lead for Milford now stands at 5. Milford having some fun despite the dreary weather conditions here on the senior night. Pasico now takes the field, another of Milford's seniors. Now the Milford bench players keeping themselves entertained on the sidelines with a cheer. Trying to keep themselves warm as well as the conditions keep getting cooler. This ball sneaking in towards the Milford net, but wide to the near side. It's been a year where the victories have not piled up the way that Milford would like, but it's been a fun group to watch. Good team chemistry, as always. A good clear here for Milford. Atherton pushes it along. The rest of the Hawks a little slow to react. It gives Taunton a chance to push it back to their attacking side as we quickly approach the final 5 minutes of this senior night matchup. As this ball ends up in the clutches of Kaylee Turtelot. They'll freeze the clock here. And so from here on, we wait for the final signal down at field level, which was difficult to decipher at the end of the first half. Slip there for Milford as that ball went out of play. That was Kat Mestre once again. Initially lining up for the free kick, but instead we get a toss in from Mestre. The ball loose across the middle of the field. And now up ahead for Brooke Ferreira, trying to spring Atherton, but that ball rolls too far out in front. Porter dumps it back to midfield. It's picked up by Mestre. Moved along the near sideline by Kaylee Whitney. And these Milford players on the sideline roaring at every touch. Here's Atherton now fighting in the corner. Very quick toss in. Just out of the reach of Kaylee Wilson. Kept alive by Caitlin Landry. Ferreira and Atherton now track this ball back. Wilson with the pass over towards Ferreira. Ferreira can't get that one through to Atherton. Now Taunton back on the attack. And a hard push from behind sends Ferreira down to the turf. The ball ends up just to the near side of the Milford goal, scooped up by Turtelot. No whistle on that shove from behind. We've seen some physical defense. Looked like more of a trip up as we had a chance to quickly scroll back on the live stream. So perhaps some incidental contact. Hard to tell with the slick field conditions. Atherton preparing for the toss. Keeps it along the near sideline, ends up out of play yet again. Back out of play, still Milford ball. Atherton directing traffic, eventually finds Brooke Ferreira, who knifes this ball back towards the middle. Kaylee Wilson fighting for it, now back towards Atherton. Ferreira again has two defenders close in. Nifty pass finds Serena Borges, and Borges gets poked off the ball. And there is the final whistle. So a quick final 5 minutes as it turns out. And so that will put the finishing touches on a fantastic performance here for senior night. Everyone immediately spills out onto the field to celebrate. Danny Atherton with a pair of goals here tonight. Brooke Ferreira, Paige Calden, Serena Borges, and Kaylee Whitney all in on the offensive effort for the Scarlet Hawks this evening. And so in the end, Milford able to take this game by a final score of 6-1. And so Milford able to finish out this season at home by earning their 4th victory overall on the season. So with the win, Milford will improve to 4-11-2 on the season. And unfortunately, it is still a 0 in the win column for the Taunton Tigers. So a fun one here tonight, despite the tricky weather conditions. As again, Milford goes on to defeat the Taunton Tigers by a final score of 6-1. So we have just one game now remaining on our regular season schedule, and that is the boys soccer senior night, which comes your way this Thursday. It will also be under the lights. We do expect it to be some better weather for the boys on Thursday, so everyone will look forward to that here at field level. And so again, we'll have that coverage for you live on YouTube starting at 6 p.m. on Thursday as the boys soccer team takes on the Franklin Panthers on their senior night. And then all eyes will start to focus on the upcoming MIAA playoffs. But that's going to wrap things up for the coverage here this evening. A big thank you to Patrick Garapi for helping out tonight. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford defeats the Taunton Tigers by a final score of 6-1. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV.